Welcome to Las Vegas Chinese Daily News. 欢迎来到赌城天天报的第一期栏目。那么呢，由于我们新冠肺炎的流行，美国呢最近推出了一系列的 CARES Act。那么今天呢，我们就有幸请到美国中小企业局局长 Joseph Amato 先生来给我们分享一下关于美国 CARES Act 其中之一 PPP 的贷款相关的一些注意事项。Thank you so much for being here, Mr. Amato.It's
my pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
So first of all, can you give us a little bit background about the PPP program?
Well, the PPP program was started pretty much about 2 months ago. It was meant to basically augment or support small business in their ability to maintain their payrolls during this time of the coronavirus crisis. The program itself was approved by Congress and funded through Congress and the Treasury.Approved by the president to basically support small business during the last 2 months going into 3 months. And basically it was to support staff of businesses that had payroll, to support independent contractors, and to support small business or sole proprietors.
So 基本上就是 PPP 的这个项目是为了能够帮助我们各种各样的中小企业雇主能够保持员工的工资没有被减免，能够保证我们大家没有被fire from work. So it's basically to keep the paycheck stable.
Yes,
and it's different from IDO. 那么就是说是 SBA 有2个项目，一个是 IDO。那么 IDO 呢，它本身是为了保证这个企业运营来举办的，但是 PPP 呢是为了保证员工工资。So IDO is basically to support the business to operate on its own, but PPP is more for paycheck for the employee.
PPP was specifically to support payroll and staffing. IDO was to support the business operation. PPP was administered by the lenders throughout the United States, and IDO was supported directly by the SBA. So application for IDO was with the SBA. Application for PPP was through your area, regional, national lenders.
那么 PPP 的项目和 IDO 项目不同的呢，就是 PPP 本身是通过银行，他们这个银行方然后来当为借款方，发给我们中小企业的。但是 IDO 呢是直接由 SBA 借款给我们中小企业的，所以呢这是2个项目不同的地方，其中一个很大的区别。
Yes, so specifically with IDO, there were 2 different parts of IDO. One was the IDO Advance, which was up to $10,000, and that was a grant to the business that applied. And then there's a second portion of IDO, which is the IDO Loan, which is up to a 30-year loan. Originally, it was approved at $2 million per business, then it was $500,000 per business, and currently it's $150,000 per business. So every business that applies can get up to $150,000 now, but it is a loan. It's a 30-year loan. It's for both for-profit and non-profit businesses. If you're a for-profit, it's a 30-year loan with 3.75% fixed rate. For a non-profit, it's 30-year loan, 2.75% fixed rate. So the IDO is both a loan and the advance is the grant.
And IDO was stopped like a while ago, but then it restarted again.
In the second phase of funding, IDO was just open to agricultural businesses. 2 weeks ago, Congress basically urged the SBA, and the SBA changed course and now reopened it to all small businesses. At this point, I think they've taken between 7 to 8 million applications in IDO. So it's a very slow-moving program because of just the pure volume of businesses that have required it. But it is a program that provides both, I said, grants up to $10,000 and funding up to $150,000.
And so people just need to go to the website and to apply for the SBA disaster loan program, and is that how they get the IDO?
Yes, the IDO is through the SBA at sba.gov/disaster. They go online. It's basically takes about 3 to 5 minutes to fill out the application. It requires just your gross payroll, if you had cost of goods sold, and the number of employees you have, and just information about your business. And usually what they're trying to do is respond somewhere between 2 to 4 weeks after getting the application.
也就是说，这个 IDO 呢，其实里面也分为2种项目，一个呢是 IDO loan， 还有一个是 IDO grant。IDO loan 本身是一笔贷款，这个呢是需要30年来还清的。那么 IDO grant 呢是一种奖金，也就是说这个奖金呢，如果你最后被批准的话呢，你不用还。So let's move on to PPP. I think by this day, it's yesterday, I think there's just a new round of possibly PPP. They're extending it. Is that true?
Well, the original completion of the program for PPP was supposed to be June 30th,
Correct.
2020. In the last minute, pretty much the night before the night it was supposed to end, Congress, both the Senate had approved an extension to August 8th. The House approved it yesterday on July 1st, and now we're awaiting signature from the President to basically allow the PPP program to be able to continue. The biggest issue with the PPP program right now is that we've extended over $500 billion in funding to businesses for their employees, but there's still $134 billion remaining in the program that can still be spent. And what the program is hoping, what the SBA and what Treasury and the Senate and the House are hoping, is that we can extend more PPP funding to businesses that have not received it yet.
PPP 本身按道理说呢，当时实际上是在6月30号之前就已经截止了，但是在最后一天，也就是在最后1秒的时候呢，那么美国呢，the House of Representative 刚刚就决定，我们准备把这个 PPP 有可能会延期到8月8号，现在呢就在等我们的总统的签名，那么基本上这一项法案就能够被通过。
So in addition, the PPP program now also extends through a lot of work behind the scenes. It also originally was meant for the first 8 weeks after you received the payroll that you had to disperse the money to your staff. Because of so many different pressures on a business right now, closures, basically non-essential business issues, staffing with unemployment insurance that don't want to really come back to work yet, the fact that businesses aren't in full operation yet, all those things led to a sort of reduction in staff to what was hoped when they opened PPP that everybody would immediately come back to work. So although a lot of people have come back to work, the vast majority of people have not yet. So PPP allowed the business that after its 8-week period, after it received funding, say it received $1 million in funding, after that 8 weeks, if they still had PPP funding remaining, so say that business with $1 million had $500,000 left, they'd have up to 24 weeks or an additional 16 weeks above the original 8 weeks to still pay their payroll, still pay their staff until the funds were completely exhausted. And with all that being said, that the business would be able to receive still 100% forgiveness. The whole idea of PPP is for it to be forgivable funding.
That is very good news. So does that mean that if a business doesn't have to use up all the funds in 8 weeks?
Yes, they
And
now have
does
up
it
to
also
24
apply
weeks.
to 1099 independent contractor?
Well, for most, and that's a great question because I get phone calls at least 20 a day from independent contractors and sole proprietors. Since you're an employee of one when you're an independent contractor, an employee of one if you're a sole proprietor, it's very easy for you to pay yourself in that first 8 weeks. There's no, it's not like you're not delaying reporting. There's no delay in the transaction of paying yourself over 8 weeks.
Because it's only for yourself, right?
Yes, so it's really not meant for the sole proprietor or the independent contractor. The real extension to 24 weeks is for a business that's having a very hard time, use the business term ramping up. So if they're having a very hard time ramping up, getting their employees on board, their revenue is only a quarter or a half or a tenth of what it was last year, this gives them time to spend the money over a longer period of time.
Let's just say that for a business that has employees and they can't bring them back, which also means that they can't really use up all the PPP funding in 8 weeks. But in order to prove that, do they need to show like a proof that they're trying to invite their employee back, but their employee refused to because they're getting PUA or other unemployment benefits? Is there like a document they have to do or anything to show that?
That's an amazingly good question. All documentation is important. If you are a business and you receive PPP funding, you should document how you're staffing, how you're trying to get your staffing back, the issues that you're having with staffing. All that information will help you for forgiveness. If you're having trouble spending all the PPP funding in the first 8 weeks, you should document how much you're expending in week 1, week 2, week 3, all the way through week 8, and then show that you still have a balance remaining. It's never a bad thing to have too much documentation. It's never a bad thing to keep your bank informed, the lender that lent you the PPP funding, to keep them informed of the fact that you're going to extend maybe to 16 weeks or 24 weeks in order to get yourself fully staffed, in order to get yourself fully using the PPP funding. So that documentation is very important.
And what is the term for forgiveness? Is that like 60%? I know that before it used to be 75% they use for to pay the employee, and then the other 25% is for business operation. And I think there's just a change.
Well,
recently,
the whole goal
right?
of anyone receiving PPP funding, as far as the lenders are concerned, is that they get 100% forgiveness.
Correct. That's
it's
what we
the utilization of funding that you're talking about. Originally, 75% or greater of your PPP funding had to be used for payroll. That has recently been changed to 60% or greater has to be used for payroll. The other side of the equation is 25%, no greater than 25% of the PPP funding could be used for other eligible PPP costs: mortgage interest, rents, leases, utilities. Now that's changed since it's gone from 75-25 to 60-40. Now up to 40% of your PPP funding can be used for eligible expenses, mortgage interest, rents, leases, and utilities.
就是很重要的一点就是，如果是想让这个 PPP 呢被豁免的话呢，那么至少你要用60%或者60%以上的 PPP 的PPP 的数目来付给员工工资，那么剩下的40%或者40%以下的来付各种各样的水电杂费啊，各种各样的租金啊，还有一些其他的商业运转支出。那么这样子的话呢，我们就基本上能够达到你这个 PPP 的这个整个的这个项目是被100%豁免的，所以这个是大家需要很重要的一点。
So at this point, most of the people that have exhausted their PPP are waiting for guidelines or guidance to the lenders for forgiveness. The best part about the congressional rule that surrounded PPP forgiveness is in any time that a business has debt forgiven, it usually becomes a taxable event. They have to pay taxes on it as if it's income. Congress was very insightful in allowing all PPP funding once forgiven, and remember, every bank wants every PPP loan forgiven. I mean, they do not want to keep a loan. They want to keep that funding forgiven. So in every instance where it's forgiven, it's a non-taxable event, which means it won't be considered income.
另外还有一个很好的消息，就是说SBA 的这个 PPP 的项目，实际上当时颁发的目的就是能够帮助各种各样的中小企业的企业主们，能够帮助他们的这个企业继续运转下去。所以说呢，他们是希望你们的最后的这个 PPP 这些整个的款项是能够被100%豁免的。然后所有的银行呢，也是不希望自己能够有一个这个贷款，然后不停的去催或者不停的去收你的 interest rate。所以说呢，银行本身也是希望你的这个 PPP 被100%豁免的。那么呢，也就是说，所以就是说，在通过这个联邦法律，这个整个的 PPP 的这项款项，最后如果能够被100%豁免的话，那么这个是不用付任何的 tax， 也就是说你最后的税费这个是不算税的，也就是免税的。所以说呢，这个对于我们很多中小企业业主来说都是一个很好的消息。
Sounds perfect. I mean, so at this point, what we're trying to do is just wait for guidance. Once the lenders get guidance, then they'll know how to specifically deal with every PPP application that is looking for forgiveness. The application is in two different forms. There's a 3-page PPP forgiveness application form, or called an easy form. It asks just 8 questions, very simple questions about the utilization of the PPP funding, how much PPP funding you received, whether or not you spent 60% or more on payroll, and then basically it gives you anywhere from 100 or less forgiveness.
因为 PPP 这个表格，它 PPP 豁免的表格很好填，它有2种表格，第一种表格呢就是叫 Easy Form。Easy Form 呢，其中只会问你8个问题，这8个问题其中就是包括，比如说你收到了多少 PPP 的这个款项，另外一个呢是你是否呢用于把60%以上的用于这个 PPP 的这个用于你的员工工资，然后另外一个呢就是一些其他很基本的一些，比如说是你其他的是否40%你都用于什么了，包括你的一些栏目、你的一些列表。这个呢是叫 Easy Form， 是很好填的。And there's another form called, is it more complicated?
Well, and just one other thing with the easy form, it's basically for businesses that receive $2 million and less in PPP funding. It's our understanding that in the 80% range, the applications for PPP were $2 million or less. So
如果是你的 PPP 贷款是少于200万的话，那么你就是比较适合直接填这个 Easy Form 因为它只有8个问题，所以呢也很容易。But if it's over $2 million,
if it's over $2 million,
it's
there's
a lot more
5-page
complicated.
application. It's still, the first page is very similar, although it alludes to a Schedule A and I think a Schedule B that also gives you some breakdown of information. They also ask for some staffing information, but then again, that's over $2 million. As far as we understand, it's for businesses that received over $2 million.
So how does it work? Does people go to the bank and with the form to submit the form directly to the bank? I mean, or do they go to the bank and bank will have their specific form?
No, all forms are going to be
It's all
generated
standard.
through the easy form or through the extended form, the 3-page form or the 5-page form. People will complete the form, they'll have their supporting documentation, and they'll submit that to the bank. The bank will review the information and they'll put it into the system to get the forgiveness for the borrower.
那么当你的这个 PPP 的资金用完了以后呢，那么你需要做的呢，就是到 SBA 的这个网站上面下载 Easy 这个表格，或者是更复杂的一些的表格。如果是说你的贷款是多于$200的话，然后呢填完了以后，再递交上你所有的证明材料，还有一些支持相关的文件，直接到你给你贷款的银行里面，然后把这个表格交给他们。So do they also submit the form when their PPP funding exhausted?
When the funding is exhausted, that's when the individual business, entrepreneur, a sole proprietor, independent contractor submit it to the original lender, the lender that gave them PPP funding. That's when they submit it, yes.
Like, is there any tips? Like, for example, because I know a lot of people, when they're using the PPP funding, and I know a lot of people are very uncertain whether or not they use the right, or, I mean, is there any tips you can give to a lot of, business entrepreneurs out there? Because I would want to know, because sometimes when the money is spent the wrong, in the wrong area, and it's already spent, but, their goal is to get it forgiven. So is there any way to keep checking and, anybody that we can talk to?
Well, you always can call my office, my SBA office, to basically get information if there's information needed. That number is 702-388-6611.
702-388-6611.
6611. And someone in my office can assist, but it's very simple. You either use the money for payroll, 60% or more for payroll. You can use 100% of the money for payroll. Most entrepreneurs, most independent contractors, sole proprietors should just use the money for payroll. They cut themselves a check, they document that they disseminated the money over the 8-week period, the money goes in their personal account, they spend it as if they wish, it's their paycheck. For businesses, they just need to make sure that whatever payroll system they use, whether it's internal, external, that when you calculate it over the 8 weeks, 12 weeks, 16 weeks, 24 weeks, that you're using 60% or greater for the payroll. And if you're using it, remember the eligible PPP expenses are pretty simple. Mortgage interest rate, leases, rents, utilities. And utilities include cell phone, internet connection, phone bills, which that was added for this program specifically. So if you use the money as just described in the percentages just described, you will be assured 100% forgiveness. Just have the documentation to prove it.
那么我总结一下啊，其实这个过程很简单，就是你们在用 PPP 的资金的时候呢，只要保证第一是60%或以上是用来支付员工工资的，那么呢少于40%是用来支付你的水电杂费啊，包括你的租金啊。这个水电杂费里面也包括你的这个 Internet connection， 还有你的一些 phone bills， 像这些都是可以被含在这个商业运营支出里面的。然后另外呢，当你这个 PPP 用完了以后，你就去 SBA 下载这个表格。一般对于大部分我们目前的观看者来说呢，可能比较适用你们的就是这个 Easy Form。那么这个 Easy Form 里面，按照它每一项要求的提供填入相关的数字。再加上你们在付员工工资的时候，一定要保证你们有一个书面的记录，然后把这个书面的记录，还有一些水电费的支出杂项的一些记录给递交上去，递交给当时给你借款的银行。那么基本上呢，你就能够获得100%的豁免。实际上流程很简单，大家也不用着急，也不用担心。然后如果中间有任何其他的问题，你们总是可以跟 SBA的总办公室打电话，刚才已经Joseph 已经说过了，是702-702-388
388
702-388
6611
6611 702-388-6611。All right. Thank you so much. Oh, and before we let you go, can you also explain a little bit more about when the PPP, like the second round of PPP, like let's just say that the president signed the signature and PPP is coming back, and is that going to be very similar to what we had before, or is there going to be some changes?
Well, from what we understand, the president should be signing it, if not today, this weekend. By next week, PPP will be again reinstituted for 5 weeks. Anyone who has not applied for PPP yet, or for whatever reason in the second round of funding basically got canceled. There were a lot of businesses that we heard of that basically did not get all their documentation in on time, had some issues with DocuSign. We've heard of a lot of stories. Those individuals, their PPP was canceled, and therefore they felt like now we're not going to get funding. Those people will get a second chance.
如果是这次的 PPP 第2轮的法案被通过了，那么呢，这个是对于我们在第1轮 PPP 没有得到 PPP 奖金的所有的中小企业业主来说，我们都可以再申请第2轮。其中呢，包括比如说，如果你第1轮申请没有完全递交上，或者是没有递交全，当时没有被批下来的，你们也可以再试图去申請第2輪的 PPP. So that's very good news for a lot of people who wasn't able to get PPP funding at the beginning.
Yes, there was such a mad rush to get every application taken care of. We knew some lenders that had to cancel some because they were waiting for documentation too long. That will give them a second opportunity. And there are still people out there, could be another several $1 billion of PPP opportunities out there for businesses that missed the first round, missed the second round, or waited too long in the second round, didn't get a chance to get their funding. So we're hoping that anyone that was a straggler, anyone that was left out, will be able to use it over the next 5 weeks and get funded.
Do you know how soon we'll be able to know when the second PPP funding is going to start?
Well, it'll actually be the third PPP funding, or the extended second.
Yes,
extended second.
The extension of PPP.
Right. So the extension we're hoping is by sometime first to the middle of next week.
So that's very soon.
Yes, very soon.
So definitely keep us in check.
Yes.
And double check on the SBA website, see when is the PPP funding is going to be coming back again. Thank you so much, Joseph, again, for being here. That's really great information, and that's very helpful for our Chinese community.
Well, it's my absolute pleasure. I'm here available to the Chinese community every day, 7 days a week.
那么也谢谢我们赌城天天报给我们提供这个平台，能够帮助我们所有的各种各样的中小企业的业主们更多了解这个 PPP， 还有美国颁发的一些很多对于我们中小企业相关的救助项目。那么再次感谢您观看今天的赌城天天报的第1期栏目，我们下次再见。